Ep002 podcast, global news and personal views, hosted by your new friend, Yaron. Welcome. Come in, sit right next to the buffet table, and make yourselves right at home.
Good day, everybody. My name is Yaron, and this is the Ep002 podcast. Thank you for coming again. I really appreciate it. Today is November 5th, 2024. 101 children, women, and men are still being held hostage in Gaza. And negotiations are still ongoing, and I sincerely wish that their holders release them today, right now. There were recent news about negotiations, but sadly they didn't pan out. So let's wish that it will just come to an end, and the holders just let them go. November 5th, 2024. Today, Americans are going to vote for the 47th president. And as we all know, U.S. Elections influence world politics, and it seems especially Israel. The U.S. affects or influences Israel not just politically, but also economically and socially. We see it every day. And we experience it every day here in Israel. There's definitely a bond of shared values between this Middle Eastern country, like no other in the region. I mean, America and Israel are linked very, very strongly through their values. And whether you want to call it some liberal values or some conservative values, or Judeo-Christian values, and even some Muslim values, we have it all here. And I think that one way or another, whatever happens in any election, I think that this bond cannot break, mainly because I think that, Israel is one of the American states. I know it's something controversial to say or funny, but in a way it seems that way. Like a territory, of the United States, for good or bad. I mean, you want to be, you want to be independent and live your own life, but in this world, you gotta have good friends. All right. Well, this is what my opinions about that. Now, today's topics are, as I mentioned, the hostage situation in the U.S. elections, the House of Israel in San Diego, California, a spaced-out Israeli, a song called So It Goes, that'll be a treat for you, less artificial intelligence, Norm Nathan's Vault of Silliness with Tony Nesbitt, This Week in History, and a silly parting joke. We spoke about the American elections, and speaking of Israel and America, some alarming news from San Diego, California. In Balboa Park, some of you may know this, there's an area called the International Cottages, where they have these little 1 or 2 room cottage-like houses. And each house represents a different country and showcases that country's culture. there are 33 such houses, and the House of Israel is one of them. It's actually one of the earliest ones in the international cottages. Well, a few days ago, they found a suspicious object at the House of Israel, and the police was called in, and the investigation is ongoing. This wasn't the first time that the House of Israel was vandalized. A little note, when I lived in San Diego, California, I volunteered at the House of Israel and had the time of my life. There's just wonderful people there, the volunteers, the organization, the area. San Diego is just a beautiful country. I call Southern California Israel without the wars. Because the people are warm, the food is great, the ocean, and except they don't have wars. I mean, they enjoy a good life out there. And so if you're ever in the area, pop into the House of Israel and say shalom. I will leave a link down below regarding this matter. On other news, good news, actually. The Dr. Shimrit Maman, who is a researcher at the University of Ben Gurion, has been appointed to a major position at the International Aeronautical Federation. I had to do it to say slowly to make sure I don't muck it up. The position at the IAF is for the next 3 years and is I have to say, it's a true testament of the scientific cooperation between Israel and the international community. Israel has some brilliant minds. And, well, not that I consider one of them, but I shouldn't say I'm not. I mean, everyone should believe that they are very smart and very capable. But Dr. Maman is really capable, and she's going to head the UN Office for Emergency Management from space in Israel. Dr. Maman is quite a gal, it seems. She initiated the She Space project that encourages young women to study sciences and engineering. Very important for everyone to actually study sciences. Although I do have my views on science, and I'll touch on that a little bit later. So let's wish Dr. Maman good luck in her new position. And hopefully there won't be any emergencies, from outer space or from anywhere. But I hope that, if we do have one, I'm just glad that Dr. Maman is on the case. So please, while you're at it, like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you want more content, and let me know what kind of content you would like me to create and to talk about. And all right, so let's take a short break with a song. The song is called So It Goes, and it's a part of my Kova Tembel music project. The music was composed by Shmulik Kraus, one of Israel's greatest singer-songwriters, and the lyrics apparently Naomi Shemer. Now, for many years, the lyrics were attributed to Shmulik Kraus, but recently it was revealed that Naomi Shemer wrote those lyrics. And please listen. I hope you enjoy it.
So it goes that the road just keeps on going. So it goes, must keep walking and walking. Not a thing can be known, not a moment be shown. Must keep going and going. And to think, if I only could, I certainly would. However, my friend, so it goes, so it went, that the road just kept on streaming. So it went, I just don't know how it hit me. Not a thing can be known, not a moment be shown. Must keep going and going. And to think, if I only could, I certainly would. However, my friend, so it went. It will go where the road reaches and that will know that the road just keeps on going. Not a thing can be known, not a moment be shown. Just keep going and going. And to think, if I only could, most certainly would. However, my friend, so it goes.
Well, I hope you enjoy the song, and I will leave a link to the Covertemple music project. And if you want to listen more to it and share it with your friends, I'd like that. Now, let's talk about less artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, as all of you know, has been taking over. Not only as a means to generate new data, but it's also taking over the conversation. I was listening to Ray Kurzweil, the futurist, on Joe Rogan. I will leave a link to that below. Ray Kurzweil kept mentioning that the exponential growth of AI, the speed which technology is advancing, and I was wondering, as a side note, will love have an exponential growth as much as artificial intelligence? That's a good question. And it occurred to me that while I was listening to records of I speak, it occurred to me that we are creating machines that try to simulate what we already possess. In fact, they're trying to simulate what we already are. All the tools like Chat GPT and Midjourney, by the way, both of which I use myself for commercial purposes. These tools, these AI tools, simulate our own mind. That's all it is. That's all they are. I mean, we create information and we upload it to the pool of intelligence, somewhere on a cloud, and from that AI tool creates new ideas, or not so new ideas, or just ideas. But I know for a fact that our minds are even more imaginative and creative than all the AI tools put together. I mean, you know that, and I know that. When you know how intelligent the human mind is, there's just no comparison. It's infinitely more creative. It is infinite. The human mind, when it's connected to the universal mind, has unlimited potential. So while this is how I feel, while AI tools rehash human intelligence, the human mind is connected to the infinite universal mind, to the source of intelligence. The question is, why go for artificial intelligence when universal intelligence had created it in the first place? That's a question to ponder. I'm going to ponder on this and talk more about it in future in future podcast episodes, because it's a topic that everyone is starting to take for granted. That there's a pool of intelligence. We dip into the pool and draw out of it, but we don't. We run the risk of not putting anything into that pool of intelligence. It's just going to rehash itself. And I also wanted to mention something about science, as I mentioned before. In my view, science is merely the exploration of the universal mind. If you take a petri dish and just look at it through a microscope, the question is, why do we look through microscopes when we are the ones who had created what we see in the petri dish in the first place? In fact, in my humble opinion, we are what we see through the microscope. Science is merely exploration of the universal self. I'll say it again. Science is merely the exploration of the universal self. In other words, if you want to say it differently, science is basically the exploration of God. God is exploring God's self. And I was thinking about what Einstein said that, and I'm paraphrasing, if imagination is the preview of coming attraction, then I'm asking, why build machines that simulate, for example, the smashing of atoms? What is the purpose? What is the ultimate purpose of smashing atoms? And I read a little bit into it, and I kind of got, I shouldn't say discouraged, but I found that scientists are going round and round, and one of the purposes of smashing the atoms is apparently is the recreation of the conditions immediately following the Big Bang. And I picked it up from livescience.com. And I'm asking, which Big Bang are they talking about? I mean, they're assuming there was only one Big Bang. How do you know that? Maybe there was a Big Bang that lasted for many, many years, of course, trillions of years, and then drew itself back. If the Big Bang came out of a one particle of sand, the size of a grain, then if that Big Bang happened, why not believe that, or why not ask the question that it could also draw itself back into that original form? And through thinking about this, I kind of got a picture of how the Big Bang is contained within the mind. That basically the mind has or had created the Big Bang. I mean, is it possible, and I'm not original in this thought, that the mind has created this world with all its memories of, let's say, dinosaurs and ancient civilizations in the human mind, so that what we are believing to be true is actually the mind simulating it. Well, let's go into a lighter subject. Norm Nathan's Vault of Silliness with Tony Nesbitt. YouTube recently and gratefully suggested this channel, Norm Nathan's Vault of Silliness with Tony Nesbitt, and I wanted to tell you that my podcast, the Kovet Temple podcast, was somewhat inspired by by Norm Nathan's YouTube channel. Norm Nathan's Vault of Silliness with Tony Nesbitt is actually recordings of an old radio show hosted by Norm Nathan out of Boston, Massachusetts, and it's a radio station called WBZ, and it's still running, that particular radio station, but unfortunately Norm Nathan is no longer no longer with us. And in the bio for Norm Nathan, I read that his career spanned more than 50 years. And the radio show recordings on that channel revolve mostly around what is called a dumb birthday game, where Norm mentions the birth date of a known personality on that day, and the call-in guests are supposed to guess their age. And I'm telling you, there's hilarious results. The conversations between Norm and the guests and the producers are just laugh out loud funny. And I felt that after a few shows, all the call-ins and Norm and Tony Nesbitt, who's one of the producers of the show and who has uploaded and is still uploading the old recordings, they become your friends. They become my virtual friends, and I feel I look forward to listening to each recording. Thank you, Tony Nesbitt, for bringing such kind of an old-fashioned analog entertainment to the digital world. It's funny. I'm gonna leave a link to the channel below. Okay, well, I don't have call-ins, at least not right now in this stage of the game, but I hope to in the future. We'll see. And I mean, I hope to bring some people to talk about maybe call-ins. Talk about stuff. Talk about AI. Talk about the news and what's going on and what's happening. And if you are interested and you are an English speaker, and please contact me, and I'll be happy to talk with you. So instead of a dumb birthday game, I'll just give you some events that happened this week in history. Ta-da! All right, well, and we'll end the show after that with a silly parting joke. Okay, here it goes.
This week in history.
This week in history. Okay, November 3rd, 1914, the first modern elastic brassiere was patented by Caress Crosby. Yes, Caress Crosby, a New York socialite. November 4th, 1995, Yitzhak Rabin was shot, and it's I guess next year would mark the 30th anniversary. November 5th, 1935, Parker Brothers launches the board game Monopoly. November 5th, 1960, Bryan Adams is born, the Canadian singer-songwriter. When we first moved to Canada, we had a restaurant on Robson Street called Farzan Middle Eastern Restaurant, and I believe it was Robson and Butte. And I kind of ran into Bryan Adams one afternoon in Vancouver, near that intersection, I think in the back alley. And Bryan and I nodded hello to each other, and I still remember that. I still like him. He's a really good singer and songwriter, and he probably remembers me whenever he sings. Please forgive me. November 6th, 1961, the US government issues a stamp honoring the 100th birthday of James Naismith, who invented the game basketball and who is actually a Canadian. I really don't know what the hoopla is about. November 7th, 1867, was the birthday of Marie Curie, a pioneering physicist and chemist, made groundbreaking contributions to our understanding of radioactivity, a term she herself coined. She was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize and remains the only person to have won Nobel Prizes in two different scientific fields, physics and chemistry. November 8th, 2017, Brazilian surfer Rodrigo Coxa breaks the world record for surfing the biggest ever wave at 24.4 meters at Nazaré, Portugal. I'm sure it made a big splash. November 9th, 1985, Russia's Garry Kasparov, age only 22, becomes the youngest ever world chess champion with a 13-11 win over fellow countryman Anatoly Karpov. And that's the This Week in History, and I collect this data, this amazing data, not the jokes, okay, from onthisday.com. And here's our silly parting joke inspired by rd.com Reader's Digest. Why doesn't the leopard play hide and seek? Because he is always being spotted. All right, if you're still with me, I hope you didn't leave or jump ship after all the little puns. Well, all right, well, that's it for today. I'm going to keep it a little short. I hope you enjoyed it. Next week, I will be discussing more amazing topics. Hopefully, I will be discussing that the hostages have returned, and whoever won the US elections is just gonna bring world peace. All right, everybody, take care and have a wonderful, wonderful day.
You just listened to the Kova Temple podcast. God help you.